Thank you very much, and Kevin, you're invited up here. We'd rather you be up here so you don't ask us any questions.
No, that's fine. I got my list.
Okay, yeah, just a few things. One, an administrative matter. In the material that's distributed today, and that's on these boards, we did not include the proposed increases for the paratransit. So I just want to read for the record the proposed increases for the PAL passes. Let me just go through this. For the 10-ride single zone pass, in January, it's proposed that the rate would go from $25 to $29, and in July, the rate would go to $33.75. For the 20-ride single zone pass, the present rate's $50. The proposal will be in January, the rate would go to $58, and in July, the rate would go to $67.75. For the 10-ride all zone pass, the present rate is $34. It's proposed that the rate will go to $39.75 in January and $46.50 in July. And lastly, for the 20-ride all zone pass, the present rate is $68, and it's proposed that the rate would go to $79.50 on January 1st of 2009, and then $92.25 on July 1st of 2009. That's part of the subject of today's hearing here in Niagara Falls and tomorrow's hearing in Erie County, and also was part of a resolution that the board had passed last month to move these public hearings forward. Before I talk about why the need for the fare increase and really how the numbers work at this point for the authority, I just would like to say how important this public hearing is and how important tomorrow's public hearing is. It really cannot be overstated. I mean, those individuals talking today, talking tomorrow, are going to provide written comments to the board. It's not only for the commissioners sitting here to listen to you and to find out what your issues are, what your problems are, what a 25-cent fare increase will do to you and your situation on January 1st of next year, and the potential of another 25 cents in July 1st of 09, how that affects you. It's not only talking to us, but it's really talking to the public. It's talking to the state of New York. It's talking to the governor. It's talking to the state delegation, your assemblymen, your state senators. I mean, this isn't just an NFTA issue here today. I mean, if we could, with a magic wand, just say, let's forget about the 25 cents in January, let's forget about 25 cents in July, we would, but we can't. And we can't do it by ourselves. We need state assistance. As Greg Stam, our chairman, said, we rely on federal, state, and county assistance to run the bus and rail system. As you see in one of the charts, on the cost of operating the Metro system, with a $125 million operating cost, $27,500,000 comes from the fare box. The rest, $97,500,000 comes in support from federal, state, and county funds. That's 22% comes from the fare box, and 78% comes from our funding agencies. And when you have a recession, which we're in, yesterday there was an official announcement, we're officially in a recession. When you have a recession, and when you have the budget problems that the state has, it affects the NFTA tremendously. And I'll just give you a couple of areas where the NFTA is affected this year, and we expect that is going to continue into next year. First, state operating assistance. You have the chart right there. As you can see from the chart, for fiscal year 09, which runs from April 1st of 08 to March 31st of 09, our original budget had $43.6 million coming from New York State. We received 3 reductions in state operating assistance over this past fiscal year. We went from 43.6 to 42.2 to 41.3, now $41 million. So where we had anticipated in the original budget to receive $43.6 million this year, we're now receiving $41 million. Projecting that to our next fiscal year, Over the past 5 fiscal years, we've received an average of 12.6% increase in our state operating assistance each year. If we had received the 43.6, which we had originally budgeted and projected this past year, with the additional 12.6% that we had received on an average over the past 5 years, we would have received close to $50 million next year in state operating assistance. However, now we presently project that we will, the current projection is $41 million, which is what we actually received this year. So if you look at that $9 million difference next year and the 2.6 this year, you're talking about $11.6 million budget gap that the NFTA has to bridge in the maintenance and operation of the bus and rail system. Now that 41 million, that's our projection, and we hope that that stays firm, because anything short of that, then we're going to be in a situation where we're going to have to look more at service and other areas that the authority, further cuts in service, which obviously we don't want to raise fares, we don't want to cut service, but you can just see from the state operating assistance the amount of money that we anticipated we're going to get this year and next year, and what we actually will receive. The next area is mortgage recording tax. This past year, we're going to have a $2 million budget bust in the mortgage recording tax, and that's because of the slowing economy. There's been less house closing, less sales, less new home sales, and that's going to hit the authority this year at a $2 million deficit. That's about $1.8 million in Erie County and about $200,000 in Niagara County, so about a $2 million gap for this year. Next area of concern, Erie County sales tax. In the material that we have presented today and that you have in front of you, we projected a gap of about $234,000. However, in the latest numbers since the production of that pamphlet, we now feel that the gap for this fiscal year will be closer to $500,000 to $600,000 for the authority, and that's the sales tax from Erie County. There's no sales tax that we received from Niagara County. We have a boat harbor that we had hoped to sell to state parks this year, and we had budgeted a $4 million sale, of which $400,000 we were going to use for the operation of Metro each year for the next 10 years. We've been told this year by the state parks, as a result of their budget issues and their funding issues, they will not be able to go ahead with the purchase of the boat harbor. As a result, we own the boat harbor. We continue to own the boat harbor. The boat harbor presently operates at a deficit. We didn't receive the money we thought we would receive this year, and state parks has also told us that at this point they don't know when they will be able to effectuate a purchase because of their budget issues. We have significant properties on the waterfront, Terminal A, Terminal B, along at the airport, and those properties, it's tough to rent those properties. So where those properties supported Metro in the past, we don't have the revenues coming from those properties to support Metro. So when you put this whole picture together, in order to be financially prudent, the NFTA had to make tough decisions, and we did. As Greg said, some of the decisions, we froze management salaries, we froze the all positions filling except for those that are safety sensitive, that are operationally necessary. We've cut travel, we've cut advertising budgets, we've cut our marketing budget, our record on safety, our record on absenteeism, our record on on-time performance, on complaints is as good as ever. It's as good as we've ever been this year. I mean, operationally, efficiently, we're doing everything we possibly can, but it's these outsized influences that are just hitting us so hard this year, and we see onto next year, that causes us to make these tough decisions. And after we get through with everything within the authority, administrative, operationally, the only thing left to look at is service and fares. And at this point, we're trying to affect service as little as possible. And to do that, the fare hike is necessary as we stand here today. We're looking at an additional 25 cents to the base fare January 1st of next year, and another 25 cents on July 1st of 2009. Now, to avoid the increase, we need additional state aid, and that's why I'm saying how important this public hearing is, and the testimony that comes from this hearing and tomorrow's hearing and the written comments that are provided here will all go into a document that will be sent to the state, sent to the delegation, and hopefully they can see that